Hey everybody, welcome back. David here. Not in the woods, but in a pantry room slash laundry room, as you can tell back there. And just taking a look at a little bit of our food storage. And the reason I'm talking about this is because of the EU and their statement that people in the European Union need to stockpile. And I put big quotations on that word because that's the term that they used. They need to stockpile 72 hours worth of food and water provisions for emergencies. And I heard that and I'm like, 72 hours, 3 days is stockpiling? 3 days. 3 days is stockpiling. That makes no sense to me. 3 days, because that's not nearly enough. But unfortunately, there is a touch of realism in that because most people don't even have 3 days worth of food in their homes. They really don't. Isn't that scary? I think you should have a minimum of 6 months, personally. And there are people that have far more. And, just looking right here, coffee and tea, pasta, baking supplies, flour and cornstarch and chocolate chips and whatever my wife has in here. She actually bakes a lot. This goes into heavy rotation. Dried fruit, rice, beans and lentils. And we have other stuff in another location that's stored. This is actually quite a bit for 2 people. This will last us a very long time if it had to. And it's in rotation, and that's important. Fortunately, we have space. I know a lot of people don't, and you do the best you can. You live in an apartment, designate a closet. Do what you can, seriously. Or use your kitchen cabinets for something other than unused dishes and glasses. You can do this. It's not that hard and it's not that expensive. Like I said, rice and beans and lentils and things like that, pastas, I eat all the time. I pull the tote forward, I put the new stuff in the back and eat from the front of the tote. Real simple, but important to keep it rotated. It's not that hard, but to me, 72 hours, that's just insanity. That's a death sentence. But they do realize, of course, that most people don't even have 72 hours worth of food. But they're irresponsible enough that they're not going to tell people what they should do. That they should build on it. Try to have a week's worth. Then move up. Make it a month's worth. Then make it 2 months, 3 months, 6 months worth. Hello, Monkey. Monkey is sneaking into the shot here, one of our cats. And we got extra food put up for them too. And we have water. But, the basics, beans, rice, lentils, pasta, even coffee beans, you take them, you put them in the freezer. Modern freezers don't retain moisture. That's why you don't have to defrost them anymore. But a modern freezer, you put the container in there of rice or beans or whatever you got and leave it in there for a minimum of 3 days to kill anything that might be in there, any weevils or any creatures that might be creepy crawling inside of it. And then you take it out and you put it in a Ziploc bag and press all the air out and then seal it up in a container like this, a dark container with no access points. Like I said, this one is a little raggedy, but she uses this constantly. But most of ours look like this. And store it in a cool, dry place. Cool, dry, and dark. And that stuff will last decades even. And you should also have water rotation and some sort of an emergency filtration system, even if you're not using it. And we have a Berkey. And we also have water stored. We have the 5-gallon jugs. And we keep that in rotation too, because you can't rely on that plastic. The reason that water also has an expiration date is because those plastic bottles, they break down and they contaminate the water with microplastics and with chemicals that were used in the manufacturing process. So every once in a while, take one of those 5-gallon jugs and just run it through the Berkey, and buy a new 5-gallon jug to replace it. But of course, the more thick and the more durable the plastic, the less often you have to do that. If you got those shitty, I know most people, they buy like the 24 packs of water from Walmart. I don't recommend that, because those are one-use or single-use bottles. If you read it, it'll say single-use bottle. The reason it's a single-use bottle is because it's non-recyclable. The plastic is so degraded already, it could not possibly be recycled, and it must be disposed of. So you don't know what kind of contamination is coming off those bottles even right away, let alone in a long-term storage. The thicker the plastic, the longer it would take for it to break down, and the less often you would have to rotate it. But you should rotate your water as well as your food to prevent it from becoming contaminated. MREs are okay short term. They don't last as long as some of the foods I mentioned, like beans and rice and lentils and whatever, pasta. Those are the 4 basics. And they tend to be unhealthy. You wouldn't want to eat those for a long period of time, because it could make you sick, quite frankly. But just wanted to talk about that real quick. I've talked about pantries and food storage and rotation and things like that several times on the channel before, and it just really struck me that the European Union thinks that 72 hours worth of food and water is a stockpile. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. If it came to it, those people wouldn't last long. Thoughts? If you have any thoughts or comments about any of that, feel free to post it in the comment section down below. Please do. Give the video a thumbs up if you get where I'm coming from. Share it if you can. Subscribe if you are new. All of that good stuff. All the help I can get on this channel. It is very heavily oppressed by ScrewTube. They don't like it. They don't like it. They don't like me. And what are you going to do? But anyway, if that is it, then what more can I say but stay frosty, folks. Hello, Daniel. Stay frosty, folks, and thanks for watching.